Kerry Sullivan here with another How to Kick Ass in Sales.com tip of the day, and today is all about how to sell using triggers. So I'm reading a cool book about triggers, and triggers are all kinds of things that there's situations or environmental moments that will trigger you to do something, to act in a certain way, right? And that's the way they describe it in this book with triggers. You know, you could call triggers all different types of things, but that's how they describe it in this type of book. And the cool thing is you can sell using triggers as well. So how can you sell using triggers? Well, it's all about knowing your client and what their needs are and what's going on in their overall bigger environment, right? Maybe their competitors at the time are kicking their butt, and you know specifically how those competitors are kicking their butt. So if you know how you can solve that problem, you bring that to them, that's going to be a good way to get your foot in the front door. Obviously, once you go in there, you have to really start doing things, because there's a lot of good companies that do this when they look at the clients that they're selling, and they'll look at the environmental factors that are impacting their clients, right? And one of the ways you can do this and stay on top of this is if you have bigger clients that you're trying to get in there with, you know, go and do a Google, I can't remember the name of it, but there's a service in Google where you can go and enter in whatever keyword that you're going after, and they'll send you news updates on this either daily or weekly or monthly, however you want it to come to your inbox. And it can just be on that client that you want to see come in, or it can just be on overall industrial things that are going on in the news, just to keep on top of these things. Because if you know these things and you go into a selling situation, it's going to put your value at a lot higher. It's going to look like you know what you're doing, and you're going to be able to really understand the kind of troubles and difficulties and things that are impacting your clients. And if you can solve these problems, you become a lot more valuable, and that sale becomes a lot easier. Now, the one thing I will say to you on this is I think too many times I've seen a lot of sales models lately where people are like, okay, we're gonna make our avatar, and this is our guy, this is Bob. And what they do is they think that every single client is just like this Bob, and they try to make decisions just like this Bob. Now, with the triggers that I'm talking about there, that's a good way to get your foot in the door. But once you go in there, don't assume that you know everything about what's going on with them and what they think specifically is happening in this environment. Ask them questions about it, and ask them what they perceive, right? Not what you think or what the media is saying or everything else. Ask them what they perceive are the biggest issues hindering them with these certain circumstances, right? And then solve those problems based on what they think. All right, based on what they think, because a lot of the time when you assume things, that can get you into a dangerous situation. And a lot of the time the people that you're dealing with will look at things slightly differently. Maybe they'll even word it a little bit differently. But the fact that you can identify what that is and use their own words back to them and their own outlook back to them and show them specifically how it's going to help them, it makes it immensely easier to actually sell them versus just going in there with your, you know, when you did all that background work and you think you know everything that's going on. You probably have a good idea. You're going to have more of an idea than most salespeople going in there. But when you have an idea and then you ask them questions about those specific things and how it's impacting them, then that really makes you stand out, gives you a lot of ammo, and that person will tell you exactly how they want to be sold. So this is Kerry Sullivan with another How to Kick Ass in Sales.com tip of the day. Hey, if you want to break sales records, go to howtokickassinsales.com, enter your name and email, and I'll get you some killer tips. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.